What is up? It's Susie from HeyGrillHey.com, and today I'm going to show you a recipe to take my favorite street food from the food cart into the backyard. We are making homemade gyro meat, combination of beef and lamb and spices. We're going to pop it on a spit and smoke it, so every bite is smoky and delicious and melts in your mouth, and it makes the most delicious gyros ever. I already can't wait. Let's get started. Now, making gyros at home could probably seem intimidating because we don't have the vertical rotisseries. It's this whole appliance. You've seen them shaving off the sides. So we're gonna use a couple of tricks today to take that same experience, the same flavors and textures, and make it super accessible and super easy for you to do at home. Now, making gyro meat typically would seem maybe inaccessible or complicated or hard. I've gotten rid of all of that. You really don't need a lot of specialty equipment, a food processor, your smoker, and optional, we have a vertical spit, but you can also just form this into the shape of a meatloaf and cook it on your favorite smoking pan. Very, very doable. First up, we're going to use our food processor to puree a yellow onion, 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, and our spice blend. All of the ingredient measurements can be found at the link in the video description, and this will create a paste that really builds the flavor layers and profiles that you're gonna find in a very traditional gyro. This is an everybody in the pot situation, so we go in with onions, garlic. We're also adding in our spice blend to the onions and garlic. We have rosemary and oregano and thyme, a little bit of cinnamon, salt and pepper, very common pantry ingredients. Now we're just gonna blend to create a really juicy paste. We want all of the onions and garlic to be broken down, so when you're biting into that gyro meat, you don't get a big piece of either. I'm happy with the consistency of my onions and garlic and seasonings. It's time to add in our meat. I'm doing a 50-50 blend of ground beef and ground lamb because that's the flavor profile that I like. But you could go all beef, you could go chicken and lamb, you could go beef and pork, you could go pork and lamb. You really have a lot of options here in terms of the type of meat that you want to use in your gyros. I like starting with beef and lamb. I think it's a great way to introduce people who maybe are newer to lamb to liking lamb because it's cut with beef, it's a little bit fattier, and the seasonings really balance out some of the gaminess of the lamb. So we're gonna go ahead and add that to our food processor. Yes, this is already ground. We ground the lamb inside from some shoulder steaks, but we want a really soft texture. And that means taking the grind of our meat down to an even finer place. And it's gonna look funky, but you have to trust me, okay? All right, the beef is nice and ground. Now I'm gonna add my lamb. This is like a 3 horsepower blender. It's going, it's happening. All right, our meat has reached the perfect consistency. I warned you it was gonna be weird. It's not gonna look like typical ground beef. You might have a little bit of stringiness in there, but it should be fairly smooth. We want it to be very, very fine. Like I said, texture is everything here. So I'm gonna lay out 2 pieces of plastic wrap on a large working surface. I like to cross them over in the middle, so I make sure I have enough coverage, like so. And then our ground up meat is going to go directly in the center. We're trying to make an oval. It'll probably be about 5 to 6 inches in diameter and about 5 to 6 inches long. Now that our little meat blob is on our plastic wrap, it's time to roll it up. And we want it to be pretty tight. We don't want any air pockets in here. So we're just gonna start at one end, fold over, fold over, give it a little bit of a roll and a shape, and then fold up the other end. Now that it's wrapped, we work it into our cylinder shape. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're gonna pop this little cutie into the refrigerator as is, standing on end for at least 2 hours, but you can leave this overnight if you would like to prep it a day in advance. This is gonna give all of the flavors time to marry together. It's also gonna help tighten up our roll so it doesn't fall apart during the cooking process. So we'll be back in a couple hours.
Bye.
Bye. This is a little meat baby. Look at it. Aww. 2 hours in the fridge and our happy little meat cylinder is ready to go into the smoker. I've got it preheated 275 degrees. You really can use whatever wood you like here, but I think pecan and alder are both really nice options. We're gonna unwrap it and slide it onto this little mini vertical spit. But as I mentioned, if you don't have one of these, you can totally just lay this flat on a regular grill pan that has the holes in the bottom so the smoke can circulate all the way around. That's all you gotta do. Super easy. Oh, it smells really good. Now this is going to change shape a little bit as it cooks. It tends to warm up and get a little bit heavier on the bottom. So let's say I put the flattest part on the top. It should even out a little bit as it cooks. And the last few times we've made this, it's taken quite a while at 275, almost 4 hours to reach 165 degrees internal. So pop it on your smoker, 275, and keep an eye on it again, about 4 hours. Our gyro meat just temped at 165, which is right where we want to be. I'm going to pull it off and then wrap it up in a layer of tin foil. This is going to help insulate it, let that carryover cooking push it up those last few degrees, and then we'll be ready to slice and serve. Our gyro meat has rested. It is time to slice. I'm just going to remove our whole loaf from the spit, carefully of course. Look at the beautiful color this developed on the outside. One thing that unfortunately we lose a little bit cooking it this way is that magical like exterior goldeny delicious yumminess that happens when these are cooked on that vertical rotisserie, because they slice a little bit off and it turns and toasts. But the way that we slice this is going to help us get as much of that flavor from that outside smoky goodness as we can without utilizing a vertical rotisserie. So here's how we do it. So first I want to slice my roast in half and then lay it cut side down. Then you can cut it into quarters, like so. And then we just start making thin gyro meat style slices. You can see every piece has that little outside mahogany red color. We've got a beautiful smoke ring inside. It's juicy, it's very tender, and every little piece has the herbs and the onion and the garlic all the way throughout. Yeah, it's awesome. Once you've got your meat sliced, you can really do whatever you want with it. I like to pile mine up on some really soft pita bread, top it with tomatoes and red onion and tzatziki sauce and feta cheese, and I love fresh herbs like dill and mint are so delicious on a gyro like this, but you can also load it up on some fries and put all the toppings on there. It's delicious in a salad. Having this meat prepped is a great way to build a ton of different things, all of them with amazing flavor. That looks good enough to eat, and the best part about making it at home is I can put as much gyro meat on there as I want. Oh my gosh. That's really good, you guys. Okay, I must refrain from taking a second bite to tell you that you can find this recipe and over 500 others on the HeyGrillHey.com website or on the Hey Grill Hey app. My whole goal is to help you make better barbecue so you can feed the people you love and become a backyard barbecue hero. And hopefully these gyros will help you do just that. Oh, Todd just rolled his eyes so hard. You guys are the best. Thanks for following along with this recipe. We'll catch you next time.
Backyard barbecue.
I couldn't help it.